Hey, good morning, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a special edition of the MrWarrenHayes Show. I, of course, am MrWarrenHayes, and you guys know the drill by now. Y'all watch, listen, appreciate, hopefully enjoy the MrWarrenHayes Show. You know that on Saturday mornings, if Warren pops up on your YouTube feeds, that means that he's doing a prediction show. That means that there's a pay-per-view, major pay-per-view happening this weekend. And it is the WWE who is treating us with Clash of Champions 2020, the only night where all the titles are defended, or so we're led to believe. And we're going to be talking about that show, giving you our predictions, breaking down the card. And when I say we, again, this is not like me talking in the third person, trying to cut a Rock promo. When I say we, I mean we as in myself and a guest. And my guest today happens to be podcaster extraordinaire, our boy, Throwback from all the way over in Massachusetts. How you doing, Throwback? How you doing today?
Not bad. Just waking up. I don't have my donkeys yet or my dunks yet, but this is going to be wicked.
It is, especially since we were just chatting before we came on air. This is my fourth cup of coffee since I woke up this morning. So
you need an IV of coffee, I swear. We'll get you some donkeys shipped all the way to Canada.
I'd love that. I would absolutely look at anything. I've been saying this for a long time, for a long time. IV coffee should be a thing. It literally should be a thing as long as you can taste it, because I like the taste. You know, the after effects, the buzz, the energy, those are like pluses. They're little extras, but because I like the taste. So if they can IV it, plus it generates good coffee tastes in my mouth, that'd be fantastic.
When I used to work at a pizza shop, I used to tell the assistant manager there, I'm like, because he would show up with 10 things of Red Bull. Yeah.
Red Bull is so worse, though. The energy drinks are worse because they're full of sugar. The caffeine element is much higher than a cup of coffee.
I used to say we should just get an IV drip and have you flip pizzas with one hand and drive the IV drip around.
And then it becomes a show. Then people come to the pizza shop to see the one-handed pizza tosser. That sounded weird. But hey, I'm glad you're here, Throwback. Just in case we have people sitting around here and saying, who is this guy with the lovely Boston Red Sox cap on his head? Why don't you let the people know what you do, what you do as far as podcasting and stuff?
Every Tuesday at 8, I rant and rave and complain.
Every
Tuesday with somebody on the show. Last week was with Rob Wilkins. We talked about 31 minutes about that god-awful Raw show. And usually I have a array of guests. I've had you on. I've had, Rob Wilkins is a regular. Wrestling Plug was on. So many great people. I'm very fortunate to have it. And on top of that, I'm very, very fortunate to have Sean Ross Sapp on Tuesday.
Sure.
We're launching today at noon on all podcast platforms. The podcast side of it, the audio side of it, of the show, written with an extremely admirable person. The first person I said on my show for a mod for Fightful I wanted on, and I got him on. I have a lot of respect for the guy. I've gone through the same situations he has, and I've got your boy, Wild Boy. The episode's going to be called Wildin' Out with Wild Boy, and he is the Barry Manilow of Fightful, so.
I like that. Wild Boy's a good guy, and he's a good friend of the MrWarrenHayes Show as well, so yeah, immediately once we're done here, it's a podcast, right? You're starting your own audio podcast, basically.
Yeah, it's on all audio platforms. Also, the link will be on my Twitter, so it's Throwback 978 on Twitter. You can click on the link, and it'll just take you right there.
And to be very clear, this is different than the show you do on Tuesdays. It's not. It's an entirely different set of content. What you're going to be doing in audio, right?
Yeah, what it is going to be a small review about the week, but also the match memories. We're going to do a small version of it, like a condensed version, and then the end of it, we'll just talk about whatever goes in the world. So, it could be we talk about wrestling, and then match memories, talk about the week in wrestling, and then you never know, it might turn into video games. Or
Fantastic.
next week is going to be the first roundtable. We'll have Rob Wilkins on that side, Wild Boy, and Queen Hannah. Hannah Moore herself on there, and those are going to be monthly. So, check it out. It'll be well worth it.
I think it's next. So if Hannah's on the show next week, it's going to be an Adam Pearce episode, right? That's probably what's going to happen.
I don't know.
Well, check it out, folks. Throwback has got he's juggling a lot of stuff. He's got some great content coming up. So go check that out. And I want to say hello to everyone who's joining us live here this morning, because yes, we record live. All the shows here, all the podcasts on the Mr. Warren Hayes Show, or most of them anyway, they're recorded live on youtube.com/MrWarrenHayes. And again, this morning, Saturday morning, people should be sleeping in, sleeping off the week. Instead, they're up and they've got the YouTube opened up, and they're listening to us this morning. I want to say hello to Tim Traver. Good morning, Tim. How are you? Brian Payne is here as well. Carlos Mags is here. Nice to see you, Mags. Reese on Wrestling, the Round 124, who said, by the way, he says, love Massachusetts being represented here, but if you want some coffee, Warren, you got to do better than Dunks. Rubbish. Oh, Throwback. Those are some shots.
There's places here that are really good, Heavenly Donuts and stuff like that around the area. But if like the saying goes, America runs on Dunkin's, I literally have 5 Dunkin' Donuts around the corner. So literally I could just walk there.
There were quick fun fact, and I don't know how fun it is, but it's a fact nonetheless. There in my part, at least in my part of Canada, and I'm pretty sure in the rest of Canada as well, there are no more Dunkin' Donuts here. Like Tim Hortons at some point just like overtook everything, and all these. The Dunkin' Donuts just disappeared, because there were 2 or 3 where I used to live, and now all gone. Dunkin' Donuts from top to bottom.
Dunkin' Donuts as a company, they own Baskin Robbins too. So if you have a Baskin Robbins in that area,
nope, no Baskin Robbins either. No, we have very, very localized ice cream. We have Cold Stone.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same.
That's something.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you. But yeah, I mean the coffee. Look, coffee is always a question of personal taste. Like people are like, Tim's is the best coffee in Canada, and I think it tastes like dishwater. I don't like it. I really, really dislike.
I mean, I'll rarely go get to Starbucks, but it's like literally like, cocaine and crack.
Right. Want to say hello to Brian Smith, who joined us in the chat, and Rob Wilkins, who left us a super chat. Thank you very much, Rob. Appreciate it. He says, hi, I have to go, but I'm not wearing pants. Bye. There's an image.
Yeah.
There's something that just burned into my brain. Thank you, Rob.
Hi, Rob. And yeah.
Thank you for the drive-by.
I'm wide awake now. I'm wide awake now.
There's 2 cups of coffee for you right there.
I swear, like, he's the partner in crime on my show, where it's like I get him on and we just let it out and rip. It was like, come on, 30 minutes of ripping Raw apart.
Oh yeah,
come on.
Oh well, it was well deserved. That being said, good job, guys. That's all I have to say. But thanks for popping in, Rob. Clash of Champions throwback. It's happening this week. When I talked about Clash of Champions this Thursday, and I do my shows on Thursday nights, right? So we're very, very close. We're like a couple of days away, and I'm like, and I start the show and I say, hey, prediction show Saturday morning. Throwback is going to be here. It's going to be cool. People are like, oh, there's a pay-per-view this weekend. Like, this one is flying over people's heads, which is weird because I kind of find they've been hammering the pay-per-view home very well. Are you surprised that a lot of people don't seem to be aware that there's a pay-per-view this weekend?
No, this is the 3rd one in a month.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now it's like, oh, well, the whole line for Family Guy. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. And literally they get trapped in and they're like, ah, crap. It's the same thing. You're going to end up seeing 4 pay-per-views within a month, and then you're going to see, God knows, maybe another 2 going into November, and then you have Survivor Series. So, like, there's going to be about 8 or 9 pay-per-views in a span of 3 months. That's insane.
That is insane. And when you consider that, we'd probably be getting a Saudi show on top of this, right? If it wasn't for COVID, we'd probably be getting a Saudi show on top of all of this. So yeah, it's been nuts. I'm going to tell you though, nonetheless, I'm still a little surprised at how WWE seems to be, or at least how people don't seem to be quite grasping the fact that there's a pay-per-view happening. And I'm sort of wondering, this is just me, and I'm sort of wondering if it's not something that's related to the quality of Raw, SmackDown to a lesser extent. I think SmackDown's been better, not great, but better. But, since WWE, especially on Monday nights, has been so tough to watch recently, it feels maybe just, outside of because I feel like they've been doing a good job promoting the pay-per-view on the show, saying this is what's happening at Clash of Champions, this is what's happening, but maybe people are just disinterested. Do you think?
They're disconnected.
Yeah?
They're really disconnected. I mean, look at Raw. I bet you those numbers are not going to be nearly as good as SmackDown. And on top of that, NXT was really good this week. So it's like, what would you have to prefer? You have Raw, who is supposed to be your flagship,
sure, being
the last of the 3 brands. SmackDown is supposed to be the B show originally, if you remember back in the day. Mm-hmm. Now it's the second best one. And NXT is now the developmental brand, the A show, mm-hmm. with better talent and all that stuff.
It's been the A show for a while, though, for being honest with each other.
Yeah, but that's the point.
Yeah.
You'll have more people tune in to TakeOver than you will regular WWE pay-per-views.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. You make a good point. I'm like overall, coming into this pay-per-view, they've announced the matches. We've seen the matches, but there's a lot of builds here that felt very heavy-handed, that weren't really exciting. You know what I mean? That didn't feel that feel a little convoluted and don't feel like big matches. Like we'll probably get into it a little later, but the one of the points that I'm trying to make here is that, Drew versus Randy Orton has been all over the map over the past couple of weeks and doesn't feel focused. I think like tossing Keith Lee in there has sort of thrown a wrench or, sort of muddied the waters. There you go. That's the expression.
Threw a monkey wrench into it. Yeah.
So like the matches are there, but I feel like individually, there hasn't been really any matches, maybe outside of one, who have had maybe 2 really interesting builds. You know what I mean? Do you think it was a properly built pay-per-view by WWE?
Not on the Raw side. SmackDown, yes. Not on the Raw. I mean, you got Bayley looking over her back. Mm-hmm. It's time to play the feud, everybody. Seriously, like it is going to be a family feud. And then, like I said to you off camera, there'll be a major thing happening later going into 2021. I have a feeling the way things are going, if they keep mm-hmm. this meat on the bone and start stripping it slowly. And then it's just Raw as a thud. I mean, Lee being in this picture, beating Orton clean at the last pay-per-view was awesome, but now you just basically pulled a ripcord underneath him, and now he's just stagnant. No. Now, I said that what should happen for Lee, which is really, really appropriate to back him off of Drew, because obviously they're going to keep the title on Drew. If Apollo wins at Clash of Champions, give him Lee.
Okay.
And make that match for the North American title. Actually, sorry, not the North American title, U.S. title. Sorry, we were talking about NXT a second ago. But
wishful thinking though on your part. I appreciate that.
But just imagine how physical, how athletic, and how good that match will be. You know, would you rather have Lee against Lashley? No, because it's not going to be as athletic. It'll be Lashley being like obviously spearing people, going crazy. That match, you know, Lee freaking flipping, doing moonsaults, doing everything he did in NXT, and then you have Apollo who could match him move for move. That would be a killer match.
I agree. I want to say hello to Robert Sterling, who just popped in, and Tony from the Get the Tables podcast popping in as well. Good to see you, fellows. Nice to see you. So let's get to it. Let's start talking about it. We're going to start breaking down the matches as I flick my mullet. It's not exactly a mullet, but it's starting to look like one, though. Here I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you, Brian Pillman Jr. All right. The Street Profits are going to defend the Raw Tag Team Championship tomorrow at Clash of Champions. They're going to be they're going to be defending against Andrade and Angel Garza, who have been I don't know. They've been teasing the split for months now. I think we're close to it. Make sense of this for me, Throwback, because I'm not sure what's going on here.
We've seen this before. We'll see it again. To quote a famous music icon, supposedly of the 90s, to the left, to the left. Come on, just move on. Move on. It doesn't make sense. It's like you're going to give us a pay-per-view match before the pay-per-view, and that was last night too, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
You got to bloody just not give us the same match over and over again with the same results over and over again. It's not going to change. You got to either do something with these guys, split Garza and Andrade up, or keep them together or move profits. It's not going to end. It's going to end the same way it always has.
So I mean, this has been this match here is a good representation, like you said, of everything that's been wrong with WWE booking. Is that they always give us the matches, and then when comes pay-per-view time, nothing ever seems fresh because they never seem to renew their stuff. Personally, I think that it has to do with a hotshot booking. You know, like never having a plan. It's like, what are we going to do tonight? Oh, well, what are Garza and Andrade doing? Nothing. Oh, okay, let them have a non-title against the Street Profits. You know, it's like there's no forward thinking. Honestly, I think this matchup here is a testament to that, and especially since they've been teasing breaking Andrade and Garza up for a long time, which I'm okay with. At some point, you know, they do have to sort of pull the trigger. And I've seen thoughts about, oh, well, maybe Garza and Andrade can stay together and be tag team champions that don't get along, kind of thing, you know. But we already have that with Basler and Jax. I mean, would WWE do the same? Would WWE do the same twice? Would they do the same angle twice?
I wouldn't be surprised. It's ridiculous how their booking is, to the point where it's becoming more and more predictable.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, you're gonna have Garza and Andrade. They don't like each other. They win the titles. What are you going to do from there? They stripped the entire division on Raw. Like, What is it? Ivar's out for the year. Yeah. I mean, you have Eric doing Raw Underground. What other tag team team that's in Raw you could think of? Name me two.
I can't. Off the top of my head, I can't.
There's nobody. And the only way you could do anything and build a good tag team is bring somebody from NXT. Now, that's not as good, but I mean,
oh, well, hang on. I could name you a tag team, come to think of it, now that I've thought about it. Slapjack and T-Bar.
Oh, God.
Or Mason
Slapjack. What the hell
Slapjack.
did they do to Dijak?
I know.
God. I was waiting for the papers in Worcester saying, nope, he doesn't live here. He's not from here.
we
Oh my God.
we've disowned him.
Yeah. It, it shouldn't be like this. This is horrible.
No, it's not good. It hasn't been good, and there's no interest. And as much as I like the Street Profits in NXT, the Street Profits on Raw, they get to me. Like I love Montez Ford, and I really think that he has the potential to be a really big star. But I think they let him be a little. I think he needs to dial the corniness back. Because I think it's really becoming overboard. And good on them for being the longest tenured Raw Tag Team Champions, but I mean, there's no one to defend against.
No, there really isn't, unless you decide to put Imperium up there.
Yeah,
which they won't.
Hey, they had to bring the Smackdown champs on Raw just to give them something to do.
Yeah, so the only way you could do anything with the draft looming over everybody, supposedly the draft looming over,
allegedly, yes,
is just give Garza and Andrade the titles, and there'll be nobody to defend because Profits will be on SmackDown going against Cesaro and stuff. And you never know, Woods could be coming back, but he's angling for the G4 TV hosting gig. So, we don't know what's going on with that and Kofi.
And quite frankly, I hope when Woods comes back, there's a King of the Ring tournament there waiting for him to win. That's what I want. So chat, let us know who. What's wrong with my voice all of a sudden? Is this coffee voice? Let us know who you think is going to win here: the Street Profits or Angel Garza and Andrade Cien Almas. If we boil it down, throwback to this match, who do you think wins here?
If you saw the reaction Tuesday, I'm not doing again. We want the smoke. Give me the Profits.
I think the Street Profits are going to retain as well, and Garza and Andrade are going to have irreconcilable differences and are going to split and move on, go back to their singles careers. That's what I think. Mm-hmm. That's absolutely what I think. We have people in the chat saying Garza and Almas, but hey, we'll see. We'll see what happens. The Raw Women's Championship will be on the line as well, as Asuka defends against Zelina Vega. Dude. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to preface this. I love Zelina Vega. I've said, especially when she was in NXT and it was just her and Andrade, I called her the female Paul Heyman. That woman can cut a promo, make absolute sense, put her guy over. She's fantastic. Yes, she is. She has wrestling training, but I don't consider her a wrestler. And I think her match with Mickie James a couple of weeks ago exposed that she ain't quite. Wait, when I say a couple of weeks ago, no, it was this week, right? It was this. Raw is such a mishmash.
Yeah.
But her match with Mickie James this week sort of exposed that she ain't ready for this kind of spot. I'm okay with champions getting soft challengers once in a while. Like this is the case for Asuka here, but holy smokes, man.
They screwed the pooch.
Yeah.
They royally screwed the pooch. It's Asuka's going to win, and the closest thing Selena will ever get to the championship is that movie the movie about Paige. That's the closest thing when she played AJ Lee. That is it. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, they screwed up royally with Mickie James too. They just threw her in that match on Raw just to save face because they screwed up. And Mickie James should be in this spot. That's honest truth.
What a weird. I mean, I'm glad that Mickie addressed it. On Raw, where she was like, "I don't know why the ref stopped the match," kind of thing. None of us understood why the ref stopped the match, but at least she sort of went, it's like, but you could see it like when you rewatch the match, when the referee calls for the bell, she's like, "What the hell, man? What are you doing?"
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know how much we can talk about this. I mean, Asuka.
It's a kickoff show too.
Is it officially on the kickoff?
Yeah.
Well, look, I'm gonna. As much as I love Asuka, and I like and I like seeing proper women representation on the shows and so on and so forth. I'm sorry, but this is a kickoff match. It really is.
Yeah, it is, and that's sad for Asuka.
And it's,
I mean, the only thing I could think about to fix Asuka's title reign on this, going in on this end towards the latter half, is giving her Bianca. That's it. They're doing these vignettes with Bianca. Let them go.
I don't know why they feel I don't know why they feel like they have to do vignettes for Bianca. Let the woman come to the ring, let her beat up some fools, and let her leave. That's how vignettes don't get people over in very, very small circumstances, because we have seen in the past people coming in with vignettes, and then they hit the ring and nothing happens because you end up overhyping it, creating very, very high expectation. Bianca is natural. She doesn't need it. They clearly just don't know what to do with her right now. So,
and the same way with Aleister too.
Yeah,
they had Aleister do the whole dark room thing for weeks.
Months.
And he come out.
Months, man. It was months.
And now he's wishboning Kevin Owens with a ring post.
And hang on, let's, as an aside, since you've brought it up, and it sort of ties in because Aleister and Zelina are a thing, right? he has the pirate strap. It's not even a patch. It's like a scarf, like a neck gaiter, right? That he has over his eye. But then he takes it off to wrestle. So you know what this means? Throwback is that somebody in WWE told Aleister, you should put this over your eye. It looks cool, pal, but you have to take it off for wrestling because. But it doesn't look cool. It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't look good. Horrible. Jesus.
It's bad. And the fun part is on their YouTube channel, they actually came up this way to get tattoos from. There's a tattoo shop up this way that does Halloween specific tattoos sometimes, and Zelina got one. And they're like, "Oh, we love Massachusetts and stuff like that." The whole time with Aleister, now it's like, "Go home, just go home."
Well, there's a lot to love about Massachusetts. People in the chat, are obviously calling for Asuka. I don't think there's any question for the outcome here. I think Asuka's winning.
Bianca's ready for Asuka.
They probably need to put a couple of vignettes under her belt before they go back. Yeah. All right, next match, another championship match because it's Clash of Champions. And folks, of course, let us know who you think is going to win here between United States champion Bobby Lashley versus Apollo Crews. I want to get your thoughts here because I'm gonna come out swinging here. If there's one reason to watch Raw over the past couple of weeks, like a reason that I'm like, this is good stuff, it's the Hurt Business. I think the Hurt Business has been consistently the most entertaining, compelling stuff that they have going on Raw. This is an example of storytelling done right, where they've been sowing all sorts of little seeds and it's all come together. And on top of that, I think they're doing really well by Bobby Lashley for the first time since he's come back to WWE. What are your thoughts on Hurt Business and Lashley and all this good stuff?
They're this generation's evolution.
Oh, look at that.
If you look at each individual member, Lashley's Batista, Cedric is Orton, MVP is Triple H, and Sheldon, who has probably the longest career out of all of them because of FCW and stuff in the WWE system, is literally the Ric Flair role. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how this all goes down the latter half of the road when all of them become selfish like Orton did. Mm-hmm. But for now, this is actually good stuff, and especially with that god-awful faction supposedly running amok like they have been supposedly running amok. God.
But they have contracts now, so it's cool.
Oh, God. This is worse than you wanting contract signings and going off about it. That's bad. I mean, at the end of the day, they're one of the reasons to watch Raw. For me, one of the people in this match and the other person I'm going to talk about in a second is a dream mid-card match that I've had for over a year now, and I'm being selfish on this. So when I pick it,
that's absolutely fine. You have to be selfish sometimes. I really like how they're portraying Bobby Lashley. Like to me, Bobby Lashley, it's always been. I've never understood why they tried so hard with him to try and get him over when all he needs to do is come to the ring, beat up some guys decisively because he has the physique, he has the look to be credible, and leave. And that's essentially all he has to do. Bobby Lashley has never been a great talker, even in his monster run in TNA Impact. You know, his promo work has been serviceable, but nothing great. I never understood why they felt like they had to have him grab a mic and expose some of his weaknesses, kind of like what they do with Ricochet, you know? Lashley's been fantastic because they've been booking him the right way. I think he's a credible champion, and he commands respect. And personally, and chat, let us know what you think. But I think he's going to retain, I think he's going to retain, and he's probably going to have a long ass reign on top of that.
I am with you with Lashley, but the closest thing I could say for respect wise for him is Cena when Cena had the U.S. title.
Oh,
that's the closest thing.
I'm not even putting those two on the same level. Like as it stands right now, it's too young in his reign. Cena in the U.S. title is like it's S tier, right?
Well, I'm saying prestige wise, elevating the title up. But me, like I said, being selfish, I have Apollo, and like I said off the camera, the dream match I have is if you have to give Lee something other than being stuck in between a rock and a hard place.
Mm-hmm.
And why not, if Apollo wins, give him Lee and let those two tear down the house. They're both extremely physical, both extremely athletic. You know, it's one of those things. I hate to use the old tagline from Raw: anything you could do, I can do better. And you know,
but you're right.
That would give Lee something other than chasing after a title he's not going to get, and it gives an opportunity for him to grow. Also, Apollo will have a credible challenger that will elevate it a lot more for his title reigns from the past.
But you're absolutely. I mean, title or not, Keith Lee versus Apollo Crews, I think is a sleeper of a good match. I don't think people would realize how good it could be until they both get into the ring, because they could play off of each other, man. That's a really good one. That's a really good one. I hope it happens now. So are you saying here that Apollo Crews is going to win back the U.S. title?
Yeah, and then the following pay-per-view, you know, he says he's done with the Hurt Business and gives Lee the shot. That'd be fun going into Hell in the Cell, especially if the draft's looming around.
Right.
That'd be an interesting fact.
Well, I believe Bobby Lashley retains, so we're at odds here. Throwback.
Yeah.
So there you go. And in the chat, it's the same thing. Lashley should retain, but Crews should also move on. That's the thing too, is that you kind of hope that that this whole Hurt Business solar system, all the people that are rotating around the Hurt Business, they all sort of move on. I think a little freshness would do good.
This Lashley is Raw's answer to Roman. If you think about it, he shows up, wrecks everything, and leaves.
Sure.
That's it. So, I mean, but Apollo would be a great idea just for that whole selfish angle.
I still think it'd be good. Look, regardless, I think you have me sold on Apollo Crews versus Keith Lee. It's something that just hadn't popped into my mind, but I am sold on that idea. Next, we are going to have an Intercontinental Championship triple threat winner-take-all ladder match between champion Jeff Hardy, champion Sami Zayn, and AJ Styles. We had an ascension ceremony last night. An ascension ceremony. They're pulling out the Wiccan terminology to try and get things over now, trying to reach out to the witchcraft audience. Folks, let us know who you think is going to win here. What do you think of this match, Throwback? How do you think it's all been set up here?
This is going to be one big pisser. I swear to freaking God. WWE, the land of giving us a pay-per-view before the pay-per-view. I mean, come on. At the end, you have to give it to Sammy. Just because that would be more logical. Because Hardy doesn't need it. And if you want to push AJ into a different realm, there is that gap between Survivor Series and the Rumble that Roman needs a challenger. So, AJ seems a practical lineup for that. So, I mean, Sammy's the only one you could think of right there, and it makes more sense.
We did get the match last night on Raw, which was absolutely absurd, minus the ladder stuff. But only in WWE would they give away. Well, anyway, look, my biggest thing here is that Sami Zayn last night took the pin. He lost. So to me, in WWE booking logic, that means he's not winning at the pay-per-view. Whereas I would agree with you, not only do I think Sami Zayn probably benefits the most from having a title, but he's also so good. Like, he is such a good, entertaining, fun heel, and I'm not just saying that because he lives in Canada, but he's so good at this. It ain't Jeff Hardy's mic work that has been making this interesting. All due respect to the legendary Jeff Hardy here, but it hasn't been him. Sammy coming back with the beard and the confinement hair last night. Jesus, we need to protect his hair at all costs. He's been, again, just drop him on the mic and magic has been happening. But look, the match in and about itself, despite the fact that we got it yesterday, we've got the ladders, we've got three guys who aren't afraid of anything. Like, they're not afraid of anything. This has the potential to be a barn burner, right?
It could steal the show, basically. I mean, you put Styles in any match and that could literally do it. I mean, he did raise from the dead. So, I mean, the guy can withdraw anything. I still think Sammy needs it over anything. And I think after Hell in a Cell, Roman's next opponent is AJ.
That's interesting. Look, I agree with you as far as Sammy needing the title. I agree with you. And chat, let us know who you think is going to pick it up here. But I really do think that Jeff Hardy is going to retain. Because keep in mind, this is one thing that I'm convinced of. WWE feels that they have the best of the two Hardys, right? In their mind, to them, Jeff is the better Hardy. He's the one who's main evented. He's the one who's been a former world champion. He's on top of it all. So they need to, they want to make him shine. And quite frankly, I'm okay with them I'm okay with him holding on to the title moving forward, considering that absolute shit angle that they did a couple of months ago where he was nothing but a drunk. Let's have him have a little more shine as a champion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes more sense, but still, Sammy needs it more.
No disagreement.
Because you could put Hardy in some other match where it benefits him. But still, at the end of the day, Sammy wins, and you never know. Once, God, that freaking Corbin match happens with Riddle, and even though they regurgitate that thing, you could always have Riddle versus Sammy, and that would be an interesting match too.
I agree. Although I think the Riddle thing was a message. I think that was a message that was being sent. But whole other discussion for another time. Chat thing seems to think that Sammy should win as well. There's even a theory here. By the way, Jason Norris, welcome to the chat. Nice to see you. Says that Sammy and Jeff both grab one belt and this drags on. But I think the rule said specifically that the winner has to grab both belts, correct?
Yeah, but that could be a good theory, and then you could put this into Hell in a Cell.
Sure.
When's the last time you had an IC title belt in Hell in a Cell?
Has it ever happened?
No.
I don't think so, huh?
That would be an interesting thing.
That'd be wild.
Have them fight over the IC title in Hell in a Cell.
That'd be good. I like that. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Let's keep the train moving. Smackdown Tag Team Champions Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro are going to be defending against Lucha House Party. Lucha House Party looking to WWE looking to split another tag team here. Because of course they have to split them all up. But I mean, they're a trio, right? And clearly they want Kalisto to become a jackass. I think they're turning Kalisto heel, and Lindsay and Grand Metalik are going to stay as a tag team, which I'm okay with. I'm not that big on Kalisto. I think, he's fine. He's a good performer. It's just not something that I get excited about thinking about. Ooh, the Kalisto singles run that we always wanted. Well, no, but I'm okay with them refreshing. If they want to refresh Lucha House Party up a little bit, I'm completely okay with this. But honestly, outside of that, I don't know what else there is to say about this match.
It obviously both agreements Cesaro and Nakamura, but the thing is that they're pulling the New Day trigger everybody wanted on the New Day for a long time.
Now, hang on. Who wanted the New? Wait a second. Who is all these people you speak of who wanted to break up the New Day?
Yeah, I went with that all these people promo. Yeah, I get the point.
Because I will die on this hill, Throwback. There's not a lot of wrestling related stuff that I will die on a hill. I'll die on the Goldberg sucks hill, and I will die on the never break up the New Day hill. There is no reason, 0 reasons to break up the New Day. Hang on, double zeros.
Well, I mean, at one point, people wanted to have them do their own thing, right? At some point in their run.
But you don't have to break them up. It's like they did with the Iconics. Why split up the Iconics? If they want Peyton Royce to have a singles go, let her have a singles go. And have Billy Kay hang around too. That's fine. And the thing that's absolutely wild now, Throwback on top of that, is that they split up the Iconics and they fight only to have them come back together and say, "Yeah, we're still friends. Yeah, I still have your back." What the fuck?
I love the fact that I could trigger a rant from MrWarrenHayes, and I'm the usually one going off on rants. Between Gronk and freaking Raw, goddamn 30 minutes of Raw rant. God help me. I mean,
y'all should check that out, by the way, on his channel.
In short, it's just it's better off just having Kalisto do his own thing.
I agree.
Even if it's SmackDown's heel heavy, you have to even that out somehow. So I mean, he could also go down to NXT and go after that title, considering they're playing hodgepodge with it. They were going to give Maverick it, and now who other than Swerve Scott, who else can do it? Because she is going against I think Thatcher or Dream or one of those guys, and who do you have for the NXT cruiserweight title? There's not really anybody that can challenge, so why not have Kalisto be a floating challenger going between two brands? And there is the brand split there,
What are you talking about? That's like Bigfoot. You keep hearing about it, but you never really see it.
It's like the Pope being Irish. It'll never happen.
So, look, I'll say one thing though. For having seen him on 205 Live in a feud with Arya Daivari, I think it was last year. Not Kalisto, but Lindsay Dorado is a hell of a talker. The minute when that guy started cutting promos on 205 Live, I was like, God damn, why? This is a guy that they could legitimately put a microphone in front of and he'd tear it up. Plus he can go. I mean, if there's something that has to come out of this here, I'd feel like Lindsay getting more spotlight would be a good thing. I don't think most WWE fans realize just how good a talker he is. And you know how much WWE likes its talkers. You know how much WWE fans like their talkers and say, well, to make it, you have to be good on the mic. You know, he's a natural at it. Why don't they do it? And it's the opposite, like with Ricochet. Ricochet is not a good promo guy. Why do you keep putting a mic in his hands? Play off your people's strengths instead of exposing their weaknesses. That just boggles my mind, man.
Yeah, well, that's what I said months ago, that they should put Casey Catanzaro in there. You know, that's, I think, his significant other anyway. So, I mean, have her, you know, do most of the talking. Yeah, no, number 5, please. Let her do most of the talking and, you know, go off that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they would be like the Hunter Triple H thing if Hunter didn't talk. But
sure,
I mean, God, he's got to do something, and they have to fix that Cruiserweight Championship section in NXT. So, I mean, Kalisto is probably the best option, kind of like what they did with Pac / Neville at one point.
Sure.
You know, I mean, you also have Gulak not doing anything. You don't have Drew doing anything. So, insane. I mean, and then we don't know when Bryan's coming back. So it's one of those things which, you know, it could be any way, shape, or form. I mean, if you want to have a barn burner match, and because TakeOver's next week too, what about Finn and Bryan and Cole for a triple threat match for the NXT title? I mean, that could be interesting too.
I'm just glad. I'm just at this stage. I'm just glad Kyle O'Reilly is in the picture, because that's fantastic. But hey, it's a whole other discussion. So who do we got here? I have the champions retaining.
Nakamura. Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be any big change here. Want to say hello to Draws Walker 9, who left a super chat. Thank you very much. Says it's great to see Warren and chat wrestling in the morning. Thank you for showing up, and thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Next, we're going to have the WWE Tag Teams Women's Tag Team Championship being defended. The team of Jax Bays, which is what I call them now because it's awful, just like this pairing is, versus the Riot Squad. What a waste of Shayna Basler, man.
Yeah.
What a waste of Shayna Basler.
And she said on Raw Talk that she wanted Asuka, and now they put her with Nia. It's just a waste of time. But this is what, let me just get into this. This is what's fascinating to me, Throwback.
Shayna Basler debuts on Raw. What does she do? She goes all fucking vampire, tearing at the jugular of Becky Lynch, right? She sucks the blood from her. She sucks the life out of Becky Lynch.
Allegedly.
I might be slightly exaggerating. Then goes into Elimination Chamber as the last contestant, as the last participant, I should say. Eliminates 5 women. I don't remember, 4 women, like within 3 minutes. Like they're establishing her as a destroyer, and now she's relegated to let's have a tag team with Nia Jax. They can't get along.
And in that chamber, one of the people that she destroyed, she's facing Sunday.
There you go. So every match that they've had, and this is the thing, is that every match they've had with Shayna Baszler since then, I'm like, what the fuck, man? She took out 5 women within 2 minutes. Why is this match not done yet? Like, she should tell Nia, stand there and look annoyed at the camera like you always do, and just go in the ring and destroy both opponents. Because to me, at this point, Shayna Baszler having competitive matches with anyone doesn't make sense.
At the end of the day, they're going to implode. You ever heard of a band called 3 Days Grace?
Yes.
Let's start a riot. That's who's going to win. I got that right time.
Yeah, I almost did. I was like, I protected my keyboard. What?
But yeah, look, it's going to be the Riot Squad, and then who knows? WWE could ask 3 days grace for that song.
So what you're telling me, what you're heading towards here, Riot Squad win the titles, and then Shayna and Jax feud?
Unfortunately, yeah, they'll implode, but then, I mean, they literally are like frenemies, or just, I know it's the same match that they try to pull over and over again, but how are you going to get Shayna away from Nia in order to get her to Asuka?
This is how I do it. Just get Nia off of TV. That's how you get Shayna away from Nia. It's just like, we don't need Nia on TV anymore. Anyway, pretty much. But I agree. The Riot Squad are going to win. And chat seems to agree that the Riot Squad are going to retain.
Let's start a riot.
SmackDown Women's Championship will also be defended. Bayley versus Nikki Cross. Again, this is a placeholder. It's a soft defense. It's a soft defense moving forward. Moving towards the main event, the real match we all want, right? I'm okay with this. I just hope their match is better than their SummerSlam match. It was at SummerSlam, right?
Yeah.
Which I thought was okay, but I thought it dragged a bit. As long as their match is better there, I am completely okay with this. I'm okay with Bayley having a soft defense moving forward, because we all know what we want.
Yeah. I think, and I've said this before, with Sasha being in The Mandalorian, you could set up the story that Sasha, who's wrong pipe.
There was not even anything shocking. It's like, what? Sasha's is in The Mandalorian. No, I knew that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Continue.
So you can make it up that Sasha comes back around Survivor Series, saying that she's like the blueprint, all of the catchphrases she says, and be like, I'm a star now. Just add that into it, being like, I'm a Hollywood star. Just get that little dig on it, and say in the promo saying Bayley is just a small fish and I'm the shark, kind of thing, and mention that I've been in Hollywood and she's just a small minnow in a whole world of full of minnows. I think that obviously Bayley's going to win, but I think they could set up Alexa for Hell in the Cell. Now, she's beating Lacey up, and she's going all this crazy, curiosity, Harley Quinn, Jekyll and Hyde thing. Alexa comes out all nice and stuff like that. You haven't beaten me in the past. You could do this, where at the angle where I beaten you over and over. The record states that I'm the superior at being on this, and on pay-per-views, and then Hell in the Cell comes out, and Alexa loses because she can't transform to where she is now. The echo just went off.
That was your Alexa. Okay, hi Alexa.
And you could end up having it where Sasha comes in, breaks through the cell, and then you have your match at Survivor Series at one of the big fours. So
sure,
I mean, that could happen, but it's going to be Bayley.
Yeah, I think so too. It's going to be Bayley. Chat seems to agree that it's going to be Bayley as well. I don't see this going any way other than that.
Plus the Sasha angle with the Mandalorian, you could just basically, because Bayley's a Star Wars fan, you could grind that into her too. Be like, I met George Lucas. Walk away.
Yeah, Bayley would hate that. That'd be great. But yeah, I think it's pretty clear that Bayley's retaining. Another match here. WWE Champion Drew McIntyre is going to defend against Randy Orton in an ambulance match. Wee-oo. Has there ever been a good ambulance match, Throwback?
I mean, the one with Roman where Roman tried spearing the opponent and accidentally lost. That was Roman. That was funny.
But I don't remember like these are some of these stips that WWE pull out, and they're like, it's not exciting. It's not like, because if we had like fond memories of these great legendary ambulance matches, but like, no, I don't remember ever seeing one that I'm like, oh, yeah,
Yeah, no. I think the king of Claymore country is going to still win this, and Orton's still going to keep chasing after him, but it's making his title reign credible, but I think this is probably going to go to Hell in a Cell, at least.
You think so? You think they're going to stretch this one out a little more?
Well, rumor has it that they want Orton to have the title for Mania, so that way Edge can come back, because injury-wise, he'd be back at that point. So we'll see. I think if they do pull the trigger on Orton, I think it won't be until like the same thing with Sasha and Bayley till Survivor Series or Rumble.
Save it for SummerSlam. Chat, by the way, let us know who you think is going to win here. Is Drew going to retain, or is Randy going to win? I think Drew McIntyre has had a very good run as WWE champion. I think he's as opposed to what's been happening on SmackDown with the Universal title right up until recently. I don't think there was any I don't think you can argue that Drew came across as a much superior champion, came across as a true champion as opposed to anything that we're trying to do over on SmackDown. He's had some good defenses. I was excited for the Orton feud because, like you said, it legitimized his run. I think getting the win at Payback was good, but this is, now we're moving on to this stage here at Clash of Champions. I don't know, man. I kind of feel like I like Drew as champion. I really do. But the idea of heel Randy Orton, who feels he's untouchable and has a reign that goes all the way to WrestleMania, like starting now, this is a hell of a reign if you start now going into WrestleMania. And if the rumors are true, as you purport, that Edge is going to come back for that match, can you imagine? Like, you'd have a guy who's had held the title for the better part of 9 months. Give Randy one last big hurrah, not just, okay, let have the title one last time. One last really big ass run with the title where he's crushing everyone. And then Edge comes back and then maybe wins, whatever, but that would be epic for if you want to really give the match at WrestleMania big some huge stakes, some real drama to it. It writes itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. But I still think Drew will do it, and then he drops it at Hell in a Cell. I mean,
okay, fair.
With like the 20 pay-per-views coming up, supposedly.
God. The fact that this will probably not main event Clash of Champions, I think we can't set aside the possibility that there might be a screwy finish, because there might be someone in the ambulance. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be surprised. This is the kind of shit WWE likes to pull off, where Keith Lee is in the ambulance, right? And keeps Drew from locking Randy into the ambulance or whatever. Like, I don't know. I think that Keith Lee's going to get involved, and he's going to be hiding in the ambulance, or is going to drive off with it or something. Or he could be Retribution. Could have Slapjack in the ambulance.
Oh,
ready with some IV. No. He's ready to paddle a dude. Clear, kind of thing.
Oh my God. Yeah. Next thing you know, G.I. Joe hits a copyright infringement on the freaking names.
There you go. Chat seems to think that Randy is going to win. So that's so officially Throwback, so that we're clear. Who do you think is going to win here?
Drew.
You think Drew's going to win?
Yeah.
I'm dark horsing this one with Randy. I wouldn't be surprised for your theory either. Drew retains and goes into Hell in the Cell. I'd be okay with that too. I just kind of feel it feels like a Randy Orton moment. That's just me.
It's one of those things that makes more sense with the pay-per-view looming about a month from now.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it. And with Drew winning at SummerSlam, Lee winning at Payback clean, are you really going to give Orton the title now and have them go at hell? How about this? A triple threat Hell in the Cell match.
Who's the third person? Lee? Keith Lee?
Lee, yeah. And then Orton comes out of the Hell in the Cell winning, and there you go. You go right into Survivor Series. But another thing is, with Survivor Series, the problem is, how are you going to pull this off when you're doing 3 brands? So you're going to have Finn as champion for NXT, Orton for Raw, and then Roman for SmackDown at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sorry, but it would make more sense if you even push it further back to Survivor Series to have Drew. You could have it like an international feeling where it's Scotland versus Ireland versus the United States, and just have a Samoan ass-kicking machine win against all 3.
Sure.
But that's predicting right now. We don't know what's going to happen, but I think they'll push it back to Survivor Series, a little bit between Hell in the Cell or Survivor Series.
Here's the one caveat that I'll add to your idea here, because it just sort of dawned on me. Randy loses his title opportunity at Payback. Randy loses his title opportunity at Clash of Champions. Why would he get a third crack at the title at Hell in a Cell? You know what I mean? I know WWE doesn't care about this stuff, but at some point, if he keeps losing title shots, well, stop giving him title shots, right?
Yeah, but it's Orton.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah. Which is why I think he should. If he wins at Clash of Champions, Orton, then at least Drew has a claim to be like, you know what? I want a shot at my title back. Randy, you have to give it to me, kind of thing. And Randy's like, whatever, let's do it in Hell in a Cell, kind of thing, you know? So at least you have that impetus to push the feud on forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's the same angle regardless.
It's the same angle. No, that's it. We're in particulars at this point. Yeah, you know, we're like it's the finer details.
We're having fun with it. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Speaking of fun, I'm going to tell you, this is the match I'm most looking forward to. I think the ladder match is my second, but this is the match I'm most looking forward to because goddamn if Roman Reigns hasn't been absolutely fantastic. Universal Championship, Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso. I think you have to chat immediately. Let us know who you think is going to win. But Throwback, I think you have to be in utter bad faith, complete bad faith, to look at the work that Roman Reigns and Jey Uso are doing right now into building this match and say, I don't care about it. This match sucks. I think you have to be just in bad faith to be thinking that. What do you think?
I'm thinking right now that Jay's doing the best work he's ever done.
Oh, it's up there.
And one of those, well, I'm talking about just by himself.
Yes, because we've never really seen him by himself. Yes.
There's a saying in wrestling, both people could be winners even if one loses.
Sure.
So they could run this match into Hell in the Cell, and then Jimmy comes back saying, "You beat my brother. Now it's my turn to get the crown." And Rock did say he would only come back to face one person. So
was it me?
WrestleMania.
Was it me? Did he talk? It was me, right? That's what he said.
Mania is in Hollywood, so that would make more sense. But I think Roman wins. Jay loses in a strong thing, no DQ or anything. They go to Hell in the Cell for one more match, and then his brother comes back out of nowhere and beats the holy crap out of it because it's all about family pride at this point. It's
sure,
but the Rock angle, you could set it up for where Rock wins it at, because Jimmy will have 2 matches. So you think about Survivor Series and the pay-per-view in December. Rock comes back for the Rumble, but is an unannounced participant. That sometimes like they pull the John Cena thing where, he was number 30. And then Rock wins. You got Roman with a long reign that he rightfully deserves.
Mm-hmm.
And to Mania, and then you have that dream match that everybody wants. And the angle Rock could say is, you were the chief, you're the chieftain now, but before that, I was keeping the family centered. And then you got your Steve Harvey family feud pop out of nowhere.
Survey says. But yeah, absolutely. That's a great angle. I could get behind that. It'd work really, really, really well into WrestleMania. And I absolutely see Roman hanging on to the title for a while. Again, I don't think we underscore enough how good Roman has been, how well this angle has been executed, right down to the minute details, right down to the small thing. Like Paul Heyman's relationship with Roman is it's different than the relationship Heyman had with Brock, where Heyman was like, yeah, Brock. Now, Heyman is sort of like, he's a little afraid of Roman, right? Like when he popped out last night on SmackDown to Superman punch Jimmy, Paul was sort of in the background and he was like, wow, like he's a little, even Paul Heyman, heel manager extraordinaire, is sort of taken aback at how cuckoo crazy Roman Reigns is right now, how angry he is, how aggressive he is. It's these small details. And what I love the most of this heel turn, and you got to give props to WWE when they do things well. And I think they're doing this extremely well. The heel turn wasn't like Roman comes in, cracks a chair, and then you people promo, fuck everyone, all in one night. We've been witnessing the corruption of Roman Reigns. We're living through his heel turn, his change of heart, his new attitude. They've been delivering this to us. I said it when it started. The feud with Jey Uso, it was clearly set up to establish that, so that we could see just how far he's willing to go, and look at where we are now. This is exactly it. Roman is ready to destroy his family to retain the title.
And on top of that, Heyman was friends with Brock, where this Heyman looks like he's just strictly business. So it's like he's taken back by this.
And strictly business. And like, man, did I bite off more than I could chew here? Because I'm a little,
And on top of that, Roman's been doing the best promos he's ever done. He's not yelling. He's just very methodical, very slow. Like that promo where he's like, I love you. You're my cousin, but this feeds our family. This feeds my family. It's
fantastic.
God. And it's not where he's like, this is my yard. No, it's just no
catchphrases. No catchphrases. No, this is my yard. No, I'm the big dog. None of that bullshit. I like the tribal chief thing. I'm not going to lie. I think it's cool. But man, look, Roman retains.
Yeah. And then it goes to Hell in the Cell. Yeah.
Does he debut with I think if they really want to make this feel full circle, new gear, new entrance theme, like a completely breaking with Shield Roman. I think this is how they need to do it tomorrow.
I think they go back to his FCW roots a little bit. No shirt, no gear, nothing on the top.
He's got tattoos. Let the tattoos speak.
Let him rip like jeans and stuff like that. Just let him go crazy.
There you go. I agree. But there you have it. Clash of Champions. I know a lot of people aren't excited, but I'm going to tell you the last, as hard as Raw and SmackDown are to watch, sometimes most of the time, I feel like WWE has put on most of the time. I think that WWE has been putting out pretty good pay-per-views all throughout the year, and the pay-per-views have been surprising. They haven't been complete, from top to bottom great, but overall, they've been putting out pretty good pay-per-views that have been a breeze to watch. I don't know if this is going to be the case tomorrow because there's a lot of matches, but I'm allowing myself to be surprised about this card because WWE has. Look, I didn't expect Payback to be as good as it was, but it was a fine effort. How do you feel?
Yeah,
How do you feel about Clash of Champions? How's your gut feeling?
It's going to be a long struggle to get through,
Mm-hmm.
but the payoff at the end with the last match will be worth it. I honestly think Alexa is going to be a factor in this pay-per-view in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to figure which way to go with it. It's like I said before, if they don't want to bring Jay back as a challenger, they're going to go back to the Fiend again. And, Batman always has its Joker running around. So,
There you go.
And Harley Quinn's running around right now too.
There you go. You got all those elements running around. Throwback, it was a pleasure to have you this morning talking about Clash. It was a good time, as expected. I called it. I said it. It'd be a good time, and it was. Let the people know where they can find you on social media and all that good stuff.
Go to youtube.com/throwback27 every Tuesday night at 8. Like I said, we got the phenomenal SRS on Tuesday. The Dong Lord himself will actually be on, and it'll be one big slobber knocker. It'll be in the home stretch. It'll be the day before his last day of No Profanity, September. So it'll be fun to hear what he has to say. You go to Twitter, Throwback978, representing the Mill City, the Ill City, Little Mass. That's why the 978's there. And then go now. I mean it, right now.
Yeah.
Wild Boys, Fightful's Barry Manilow debut on the Wicked Pinfalls podcast on podcast platforms. It is live now. So go check it out.
Yep, I agree.
It will be well worth it. We talk about a little bit of match memories, the recap about Raw. We talk about the passing of Animal a little bit, but it also gets really personal, very delicate, very somber too. But the show basically is dedicated to both of our mothers, so I mean, it's bound to be like that. But if you want to hear his dulcet tones, go check that out. Next week it's going to be a fun week. We got a roundtable on there too coming up, so check it out. It'll be well worth it
for sure.
But other than that, hit the bell, hit the like on this one, and then do the same thing on this past Tuesday show. Also, I got to plug this because you were on this. Go to Match Memories. We talk about AJ Styles match 2 and 3 also, and
AJ
check
Styles
that out. Warren did a really good job.
AJ Styles and John Cena, which was good shit.
Yeah.
Them's were the days. But thank you. Yeah, definitely go check it out and get on your podcast apps. Find Throwback's podcast there and listen to him and Wild Boy talk about all that good stuff. It's going to be a good time. Just like today was a good time. Can't thank you enough. Throwback, for joining me today. I appreciate it.
No problem.
And thank you everyone for joining in, like Tony Wiegand, who just popped in to say thank you, and thank you for tuning in. Thank you everyone for joining us this morning. Have a great Clash of Champions. See you next time.